Welcome back to In the Can. We're going to be talking to the Skoll Award recipients, Michael Jenkins, who's with Forest Trends, and William Foote with Root Capital. And as I mentioned in the intro, sincerely, I'm so excited to talk with you because every year, I just find it a privilege to be able to talk to people that are making such a huge difference in the world. I mean, it's really remarkable. So thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
So the Skoll Foundation is I don't know exactly the exact term to sum it up, but basically it's honoring social entrepreneurs, which you both are. So given that title, tell us what your individual companies are all about. Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and start. I run an organization called Forest Trends, so we're a nonprofit organization, and we work around the world on issues of avoiding forest loss and other ecosystem loss. And
go ahead.
I run an organization called Root Capital, and we invest in small and growing businesses like farmer cooperatives and agricultural associations in Africa and Latin America. So trying to build better livelihoods for 1-acre farmers in very remote places that don't have access to things that we all enjoy, like capital and technology and markets and talent. And
very helpful things.
Exactly.
So how did you become involved with Skoll?
Well, Skoll nominates people, so they select us for the work we've been doing.
And you've heard of them before?
I'd heard of them before,
Okay.
Certainly, over the years. And I think they've taken a big interest in this issue of forest loss, deforestation globally, for a number of issues. We're starting to understand now with the science that the loss of forest and the emissions from all of that forest loss is actually a greater cause of climate change than all the transportation. So all the vehicles, all the trains, all the trucks that are, the loss of forests and forest burning are a greater source of emissions into the atmosphere and climate change than the transportation sector. So that's part of why Skoll has gotten involved in this issue.
And when you heard from Skoll, were you surprised? I mean, obviously, it's a wonderful thing to be nominated, but had you heard of Skoll before and knew what it was about?
I'd heard of Skoll as kind of the premier foundation supporting ideas that can really scale and have an impact nationally, globally. We won the Skoll Award in 2005, and since then have gone from providing roughly $20 million in credit to maybe 20,000 people. This past year we did $80 million in credit to about 200 businesses representing 300,000 smallholder producers. So Skoll has been critical in helping us to scale our organization and really try to move the needle on the issues.
Great. So what and this is one thing I always ask when social entrepreneurs come on. I mean, this has been a focus of your life for the last 3 decades. You started out with Peace Corps working. What makes someone dedicate their life to a subject that's a huge issue, right? And I guess it's just questioning, do you really feel like you individually are making a big difference, and what's your passion for that?
Yeah, it's wonderful to get the Skoll Award, but I would say both Willie and I would feel like we are just doing the best we can do, and we're surrounded by a lot of colleagues and talent and partners all over the world that are moving this issue along. But the passion for me comes out of sort of the urgency of the issue, and I grew up all over the world in places like Venezuela and Thailand, and so I just have a sense of being, giving back to the world that has given so much to me.
That's really great. And as you mentioned, you're giving money to individuals in China. I'm sorry if I didn't quite understand the whole scope of your organization, but as far as like a personal story where you've seen this actually make a difference in someone's life, can you think of something that you'd want to share with us?
Yeah, in December we made a loan to an organization called the Gulu Agricultural Development Company, which is in northern Uganda.
So you make loans to businesses?
We make loans to businesses that aggregate several hundred.
That was the piece that I was missing.
Several hundred or a few thousand farmers or artisans in Africa and Latin America, not yet Asia. But so we made a loan to a company it's a ginnery, a cotton ginner and exporter, that's aggregating cotton from about 30,000 cotton growers in an area that was just ravaged by the Lord's Resistance Army, the LRA, past 25 years. 1.4 million people in northern Uganda have been living for almost a decade in refugee camps. And about 2 years ago, those folks are coming back to their farms because the fighting has ended. And they need a stable cash crop to kind of to rebuild their lives as subsistence farmers and so on, and yet that business has absolutely no access to bank financing because they're too big for microfinance, too small, too risky, too remote for commercial financial institutions. So we went and visited a number of the farmers who, frankly, were just absolutely delighted to be back on their farm with their families intact and trying to rebuild the future, rebuild their lives. And I guess the key thing is in a place like that, former combatants in a post-conflict situation need to quickly build their livelihoods and be employed. And so that was a really special journey we took just last December.
That's really great. So if people wanted, become involved in either one of your organizations, are public donations accepted? How does it work for people to become involved? Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're a nonprofit, so you could easily make a donation.
What's your website? We can go ahead and plug that.
forest-trends.org.
forest-trends.org.
Yeah,
okay.
So that would be great. Always useful.
Our website's www.rootcapital.org.
Okay. Wonderful.
And we operate in what's called the impact investing space, which is that uncharted area between philanthropy on one end and sole maximization of profit on the other. So we actually bring in donations to pay for the financial literacy training that we do and kind of the public goods. And we also raise low interest debt. So folks lend money to us at, say, 2%. And then we turn around and on-lend that to, as I said, 220 businesses representing 300,000 people last year.
Well, thank you both for coming in. It was really great to hear just a little bit about what you've dedicated so many years to building. So we appreciate it, and congratulations on this great honor.
Great to be
We'll
here.
be back with more in the can after this, so stay with us.